Hey guys, welcome back to Draw Along Doodles with Walker. So, we're working on some wintry, Christmassy editions. And right now, we're going to do one of my favorite characters from growing up, and that is Mr. Bingle. He is really common in South Louisiana because he used to be the mascot for a store called Maison Blanche. Now, he's got an ice cream cone hat and little blue eyes and little nose and little holly wings. And he is Santa's flying snowman helper. He also kind of looks like a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but he's fabulous. I actually had lots of Mr. Bingle stuffed animals growing up, or I guess stuffed snowmen if you want. All right, we're going to start by giving him his head. His head's just going to be a little bit off center, and it'll be an oval that's leaning. So you need to make sure it's got a slight tilt to it, because as he's flying through the air, he's kind of looking like, All right, we're going to curve the base of his hat right here, his ice cream cone. Then we're going to go up and up from that curve. And then we're going to continue by making a little oval right here. Now, the curve at the bottom of the oval and the curve at the bottom of your hat should be the same. I'll clean this up so you guys can see it a little bit easier. All right, now I'm going to touch the front part of that oval, and I'm going to come up and up to make a rounded triangle. That is going to be the bottom of the ice cream cone. Generally, his hat is rounded at the bottom. It's not pointy. All right, so I'm going to curve a couple of lines going diagonally from bottom left to top right. This is one of those situations where I want you to have the idea of texture, but I don't want it to feel like an overall pattern. Now I'm going to curve some lines going the opposite direction. So going from top left to bottom right. I'm just going to add a couple of little indentations. Okay, for his nose, he's a nice big red button nose. Then he has two, not quite as big, little blue eyes. Okay, in order to put the body on, we need to have his bow. So we have a square, down and out, down and out. Curve it in just a little bit. So it's not quite straight, but it's not quite curved. All right, and to get the inside of the bow, we're going to curve down and curve down. All right, now he's going to have these really long tendrils that are coming from his bow. I actually think that's probably long enough. And he has little jingle bells on the end of them. And to make it look like the jingle bell has the hole that jingle bells do, you can draw a V and then put a little circle at the bottom of that line. All right, his other one is going to be out kind of this way because he is flying. So it's not like it would be straight or orderly. All right, and then we're going to come right here with our jingle bell. We'll go out, out, circle, circle. Good deal. All right, we're going to make his arms. So we'll start about the middle of his head right here, and we'll let it come out. And from the bow, we're going to come out. So there's his left arm. And then for this one, we're going to come out and down just a little bit, kind of like he was playing airplane. And then we're not going to go all the way to the bow. We're going to come right here for where his armpit would be and come down. All right. Now, we're going to be able to see his whole mitten in the front. So making a U. Then coming back and adding a small U for the thumb. Up here, we're closing it off. We're making a U for his hand. And instead of the thumb sticking outward, we're going to have the thumb crossing over. So the U is going to come right here for this hand. And that's because he's holding a candy cane. Check it out. Yes, generally he brings a treat. So I'm going to come add my candy cane. Ooh, that curve is a little sad. There we go. All right, now let's add the rest of his body. So I'm going to come from his arm right here, and I'm going to curve him around pretty substantially. It's almost like he's doing one of those yoga moves where you pull your arms and your feet up off the mat. So I've curved. It's like a letter J. Now I'm going to bump in and down. Come from right above his hat, and I'll bump in and down. And you'll notice those are about the same length. Then we're going to do the little line so we can see where his legs and his back meet. Now, we still need his holly wings so he can fly. So it's easiest to go in and get yourself the center holly vein so that you have some sort of direction for where you're going. And then I'm going to come out, out, in, out, in, out, and continue the in, out until it touches his arm. All right, this one's a little bigger because it's close to us. We can see it more. Out, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. And that, of course, is one of those spots that's very difficult to remember where you were. So it can be really helpful for you to go back in and erase. All right, I think he looks great. I think his tummy is probably a little big. I think I gave him a little bit too much. So I'm going to go and take that off. Okay. It's time for us to Sharpie. So let's start with his face because his face overlaps that other part. And we'll come in and get his ice cream cone hat. Get the front of that oval. And we're going to go up with our cone bottom. We're going to give the idea of the texture. Then we're going to come and get his little button nose and his eyes. We're going to get his bow. And his long strands. And the bell at the end of those long strands. Get the other side. There we go. Now I'm going to get his front thumb on his mitten. Then I'll get the candy cane that's coming through his hand. Now I can get the rest of that mitten. And I can add it to his arm. Ooh, I got a little bit of eraser on there. Go in and get his belly. And I will start with his arm that's closest to us. And Sharpie. And Sharpie. Okay, now we need his holly wings. So tracing that out in. Remember, holly gets a little bit wider as it comes to the bottom. So make sure that yours doesn't just look like you made a line with zigzags on it. It should look like the leaf. And then I'm going to come and do his legs. All right. And here you have Mr. Bingle, Santa's snowman flying helper. All right, guys. Enjoy, and I can't wait to see what y'all's look like.